Good morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Agatha, and I am the Business Advisory Manager at Business Station. Thank you for attending our online business forum this week, the Digital Marketing Special Edition. We at Business Station are very proud to bring you this session as part of the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Digital Solution Program funded by the ASBAS industry. Throughout COVID-19, businesses have been forced to switch to online options. Now, more consumers than ever are shopping online. So how can you take this shift in behavior and turn it into an opportunity for your business? Have you considered advertising your business through paid digital marketing? We're joined by a panel of digital advertising specialists here to discuss the basics of advertising your business online and tips and tricks to do exactly that. All right, today joining us are panelists Kasia McNaught, Dante St. James, Carrie Severin, and Hannah Wallace. And of course, my partner in crime from Business Station, Rebecca, who will facilitate our Q&A. Before we start, a bit of housekeeping here. The online business forum will be recorded, and the recording will be shared with you once available. If you have questions for our panelists, please click the Q&A button available on the bottom of your Zoom screen. I think you guys know by now where it is. We will try to answer all your questions today. However, any that cannot be answered, we will compile with your recording. All right, guys, without further ado, I would like to introduce our first panelist, Kasia McNaught. Kasia is a passionate digital marketer and communications consultant with over 14 years of experience working with business across digital, traditional, and outdoor media. Kasia founded the McNaught Media, a boutique digital marketing consultancy specializing in social media management and content creation. So we're very lucky to have you, Kasia, of course. Now, let me pass it on to you. Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to just share my screen with you as well. Can everybody see that okay? And can everybody? Yes. Fantastic. So 5 minutes, I'm really excited to speak to you all about one of my favorite topics, Facebook and Instagram ads. There's a lot to cover, but I would just like to give you a quick snapshot of why this is such a powerful and wonderful way for you to get your business out there online. So when we talk about Facebook Ads Manager, we're actually referring to one unified platform for your Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram ads. Having worked in traditional media as well, back in the olden days, so to speak, in newspaper and radio and cinema advertising, what I really love about Facebook and Instagram advertising is that you can set up an ad in minutes. You can learn to do so yourself. You can also start off with quite modest budgets to test it out and see how it's working for you. You can also track your results in real time. So unlike, putting out an ad, say in a newspaper and not knowing who's seeing it or whether or not you're getting a direct response, you can actually see the results happening by the second, by the minute, and adjust your approach as you go. The other most powerful thing is that you have very precise targeting options. So you can target people, and if you know exactly who you want to reach, you can do this based on their age, gender, suburbs, even their interests, and what sort of things they're following, their behaviors, their demographics. It's extremely powerful if you know who you want to reach, and you can really fine tune this so that it's a very personalized form of advertising, and you're delivering ads to people who really are likely to be interested in what you're showing. You can also meet so many different business goals. There's so many different types of ads you can run, whether it be to acquire new customers, engage with your audience, increase your sales, drive traffic to your website, start conversations in Messenger, Facebook keeps adding more and more new and exciting features to the types of ads you can run. So the possibilities are endless. And, you know, as we're all aware, especially since we've all been online more than usual with COVID, TV's being replaced by Netflix, radio by Spotify, and newspapers by digital channels. So social media is really where you need to be with your business. And, you know, considering how powerful it is, you can still really make a great impact for a very affordable amount. And just a few things I'd like to cover. I know I've got only a few minutes, but always make sure your creative, your images, your video, whatever assets you're using are of high quality to reflect the value of your brand. If you don't have any images of your own, there's actually an agreement that Facebook has with Shutterstock where you can use their library of images for free in your ads. Another thing I'd like to say is don't always use the same ad copy in all of your campaigns. Make sure you change it up. It's great to also create a sense of urgency with a limited time offer because everybody's very much bombarded with advertising and information nowadays. So it's great to encourage people or give them a reason to take action, a compelling reason. On that note, if you can incorporate compelling social proof, such as, you know, testimonials or feedback from customers about your products or services, that's also extremely powerful. Include action verbs in your copy like try, test, get, receive. Where appropriate, you can use emojis if it suits your brand, but not too many. Always craft an outstanding headline. Around 5 words is very good. That highlights what's unique about your products or services. And always keep it simple, make it clear, concise, and focused on the value that you're providing to people. And this is a very important tip. Make sure your ads are always optimized for mobile because I'm sure you're all aware, we're very much on our mobiles or smartphones nowadays. So, you know, a huge percentage of people are going to be seeing ads on their smartphones. And my final tip as well, because I know I'm running out of time, is when you start creating an ad campaign on Facebook, for Facebook and Instagram, or either, make sure you pick one objective per campaign, because that's how you're going to get the best results. So whether it be leads, traffic to your website, starting conversations in Messenger, promoting a post on your page for more engagement, stick to one objective per campaign, because that's what Facebook is good at doing. They're good at giving you the best result for the one objective you pick. And those are my top tips within 5 minutes. There's so many more, but I hope that's helpful and I'll be here for your questions. I think that's my time.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Kasia. And you're definitely spot on there in terms of time. If you can, there you go, my timer just got off. If you could perhaps, yes, that's great. Now next, we have Dante. I'm gonna make you a spotlight video first, Dante, before my introduction. Now, Dante is the head of digital at 3D Business Consulting. He's also the founder of digital agency Clickstarter. Now, he actually piloted this online business forum with us. So welcome back, Dante. And
Thank
with
you very much.
extensive media, marketing, and information technology experience, Dante is now one of just 6 accredited Facebook community trainers in Australia and one of just the 3 certified Facebook digital marketing associates. So very lucky to have you, Dante, and take it away.
Thanks for that, Agatha, and I feel your pain, Kasia. It's a very quick amount of time to get it all in, but let's see how we can go with it. I'm just going to share my screen now, and we're going to be covering off the best practices for Google ad keywords. Now, what we're going to look at is a bit of local research. We're going to look at a little bit of national research. We're going to take a quick peek inside what it looks like at the keyword planner within Google's ad platform. We're going to take some competitor analysis tips. And finally, the testing and adjusting. How we'll do it in 5 minutes, God only knows. Without me, I think you covered all that. So thank you very much for that, Agatha. Now, moving on to the local research, when it comes to finding out what keywords to use in your Google Ads campaign, the easiest and most simple place to go to it is to get into just typing in what you do to Google and seeing what the search suggestions are that come up. This is a really easy way because those search suggestions for you are going to be tied to your local area. So as long as you're not holidaying somewhere in northwest Tasmania and you're actually in the area that you're serving, roughly, at least if you're in Brisbane, make sure that you're actually also searching within Brisbane. You'll be able to get results that are very much tied to other people who do what you do. The example on screen is for a plumber. So it'll come up with things like a plumber near me. I'm in Darwin, so it's going to say a plumber in Darwin, or a plumber in Alice Springs, because, you know, somewhere 1,400 kilometers away is apparently close here. And it'll also give you some background in the map as well. So in the map, it'll show you those who are the ones that are coming up first in the proximity usually, but there's also going to be a fair bit of reward given to those who are given, say, for instance, really good reviews or have completed their Google My Business profiles. So this gives you an idea that you can say plumber near me, plumber Perth, plumber Gold Coast. They can all be different keywords you can have if you're in those areas, but you can also use the names of your competitors that come up first in the map as terms you can advertise against. So if I was Wig Plumbing in Darwin, I would then go, okay, I'm also going to have Pinnacle Plumbing NT as one of my search keywords that I want, or Nightcliff Plumbing and Gas as one of my search keywords that are going to come up in Google Ads as well. It's one of those unfortunate things about it is that once you start advertising against them, I can almost guarantee they're going to start advertising against you as well. Then we go out and do a little bit of national research. It's always a great idea when you're in a small town like I am to go and search for the best practices that are in the bigger places, because where there's greater competition and bigger population, you're going to find a whole lot of other ideas as well. So from me searching from the far north for plumbers in Sydney, these are the three options that came up. They give me a great idea of the kind of words within the ads that I may want to use, the kind of words that seem to be doing okay. Now that's a mixture of how those words match what the search is going to be, but also it's a basis of how much they're spending. These guys are probably spending a heck of a lot to get that. So on top of that, we want to make sure that the words are kind of using best practices from the very best in the country, or at least those who pay the most in the country and get the best search results. And then also the relevance to what the search term is. So you wouldn't put plumber in a West if you're living in Alice Springs, for instance. The Google Keyword Planner is the best tool of all of them when it comes to working out how to use those keywords. It's part of Google's ads platform. So once you go in there, you select tools and then Keyword Planner. And once you're in there, you get the option to choose a search for new keywords and keyword suggestions, they call it. So Wig Plumbing was the idea I'm using as a filter. So you're down the bottom, it says use domains used as a filter. If that's my business, I'm saying everything that's on my website that says everything about what I am, compare that with what are the best search results that you would put into a Google ad for someone who does what I do as evidenced in my website. Then also I'm going to give you a few basic filter words at the top: plumber, plumbers, gas fitter, gas fitters, as a way to sort of tell you what I want to do and how I want to work it. And then when we get the results, we get a lovely looking screen like this, which shows us the patterns of traffic over the last few years, or it might just show you the last 12 months to begin with. You can stretch that out to all time. From them, it's from May 2016 on to April 2020. So you can see there's some defined patterns. Whether that means anything to your ad campaigns, that's completely up to you. But it'll also show you now those terms that I put in there: plumber, plumbers, gas fitter, gas fitters, what they are in terms of search volume. So it's saying there's about 70 searches per month for the word plumber in my particular area, and they're costing between $3.19 and $13.28 to get to the top of the page. So that's giving you an idea of, okay, that's great for those really general terms. I have a little bit of information. What I'm looking for though is the other words to search for. And as I scroll down the page, then we start seeing plumbing services, plumbing companies, plumbing repair, plumbing pipe, a lot more information about other keywords that, even though there might only be around about 10 searches for those particular terms per month, in a small town, that is a significant amount. And when you add them all up, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and on, and giving you some idea of how competitive those keywords are for you to be able to buy in the Google Ads platform auction. Another way to do this is to check your competitors. by looking at their SEO. Now, this is the opposite of SEM, which is what we're talking about with Google Ads, but it does give you an option of the keywords they come up really high for that you can then buy in the Google Ads platform. A free trial through this one, SEOsitecheckup.com, will give you the option to add 3 competitors against your own website, and it'll give you an idea of the keywords that they are optimized for, so you know then what to put in for your keywords that you'll put into your Google Ads campaigns. And then when you've got it in place, never stop testing and tuning and adjusting and tweaking to make sure you're on top of things like changes, seasonal changes. It's a very big thing in the north of the country, particularly. There's very defined seasons when you want plumbers and when you don't want plumbers. We're coming out of the peak now, and the peak is over the summer period, which is full of rain, and that's when burst pipes all happen. So just to recap, the keyword planner is a huge, huge thing to be using. If you're not using it, you really should be. It's going to open up a whole new world to you. Perform your local and your national research. Do a little bit of competitor analysis and pick up a few resources like the keyword tool, which is excellent for looking at the different kind of keyword suggestions you can do across multiple platforms, including Bing and YouTube. Ahrefs is an excellent free keyword tool that you can use to search for keyword suggestions. WordStream has a similar one, as does Store Growers, which is particularly geared towards those who are working in e-commerce. Hopefully I've come within my 5 minutes. There was a lot of information.
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure this is going to play back later.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Dante. Thank you so much. It's very insightful. All right, now let me put Carrie as the spotlight video, and Carrie is let me make this introduction because I really like your bio. Carrie is the co-founder of Altitude Business Solutions. Now, she is an expert at showing business owners how to use technology to grow their business and save time and money through automation. Carrie has owned and run multiple businesses over the last 20 years, winning international awards for growth and marketing. Take it away, Carrie.
Hi, so great to be here. Well, this is my first time, so I know I'm going to struggle to get in with the 5 minutes, but I'll do my very best. So today I'm talking about utilizing your CRM database for digital advertising. So I'm going to get straight into it. I just want to make sure that everybody watching understands exactly what a CRM is. And it's a customer relationship management tool. So it adds a level of automation, I guess, to your relationship building with your clients. And if you have ever tried searching for a CRM system online, you've probably found 1,000 of them come up, and it can be quite overwhelming to actually pick the one that's right for your business. My advice for you there would be to possibly book a session with an ASBAS advisor so that they can work out which is the best CRM system for you, because there are a multitude of different ones available, and there are free version ones as well. So it doesn't always cost you money to have a CRM, but it does mean that you're getting the right one for your business. For example, if you were a building and pest inspector, there are CRM systems specifically for building and pest inspectors. So that might be something that you want to look into down the track. Now, when it comes to key digital advertising points throughout your CRM, it's about communicating with your customers to build trust. It's about upselling and giveaways to maybe your engaged customers who are already purchasing from you or using your services. And it's about being able to re-engage with those customers who may have lapsed or not, you haven't spoken to in a little while. So to communicate with your customers to build trust through your CRM, you can do things like sending out newsletters, and this can all be set up to happen automatically. So it just goes on in the background and you don't even know that it's happening. You can also send out downloadable things to them. So it could be information, it could be a tool that they could use depending on exactly what your business is. But this is something that would happen regularly in the back end of your CRM system and just go out automatically. Upselling and giving away to engage your customers. So upselling would be if they've purchased something from you, then your CRM system can send out an automatic email or some communication saying to them, hey, you've purchased A, would you like to purchase B? So it just means that you're giving them the best possible customer service that they can and making them aware of the products that actually go together. And then there's also the giveaways. So you might have giveaways at special times of the year that you want to be able to send out to those regular customers as well. Re-engaging lapsed customers. Now, to me, this is where a CRM system really comes into play. So you want to make sure that you're building your relationship with everybody. And when you find out that there is someone who's not engaging with you, your CRM system has the ability of bringing it to your attention so that you can actually contact that particular person and say, hey, how's it going? Is there anything that I can do for you? So remember, when you're trying to re-engage somebody, they want to know what you can do for them. So sending them information via email may not necessarily work if they don't open the emails. And CRM systems have the ability to have all different types of communication. You may just simply decide to send out a special offer to these people. So that means that they are getting a little bit enticed. And when it comes to digital advertising, I know that there are lots of different ways that you can advertise, but just to give you an idea, there's a few things that some CRM systems can do, which are actually out of the box and are going to help you stand out from the crowd. So everybody has a mobile phone in their pocket these days. So a CRM system that can do text message communication as part of your digital marketing strategy is great. There's also a system called straight to voicemail, where they can also send voicemails directly to somebody's inbox. And then there's also voice messages as well. So recorded voice messages that are sent out via text. And these may seem a little bit different to what everybody else is doing, because I'm sure, particularly in the last couple of months, you've been able to see the influx that's been coming into our inboxes from everybody. All of a sudden, everybody realizes they need to be doing digital marketing, and the first thing they've gone to is their email marketing, and these ones just stand out from the box. The CRM systems can actually do these things for you as well. So I hope that was with my 5 minutes. It's a lot of information in a very short amount of time, but I wanted to give you as much punch as I possibly could in the time I had.
Thank you, Carrie. That was spot on 5 minutes. Well done, and thank you. Now, let me put the spotlight now to Hannah. And Carrie, if you can cancel your share screen, that would be great. Okay, and very special guest here. Welcome, Hannah. Hannah Wallace is the marketing director for digital ad fraud prevention specialist at Traffic Guard. Launched in 2018, Traffic Guard's mission is to drive trust and transparency in a digital advertising ecosystem. I like that. Traffic Guard works with advertisers of all sizes to ensure that every dollar they invest in digital advertising goes towards genuine advertising engagement, not ad fraud. All right, take it away, Hannah.
Thanks very much. First of all, I just want to start by saying this is a really great initiative to help small businesses in Australia. So I commend ASBAS and Business Station for putting it together. Well done, guys. And thanks for having me. I am Hannah. I work, I'm the marketing director here at Traffic Guard. We're verification and fraud prevention for digital advertising, which is a bit of a mouthful, but essentially what it means is we make sure that your ads are seen and clicked by real people and they have the potential to become customers. So when you advertise online, you might expect that every click that you get is from a real person, but that hasn't really been the case. So our technology runs across businesses all over the world, small and large, across all different verticals. And the reality is that anywhere between kind of 10 and 30% of your traffic could be invalid traffic. So invalid traffic encompasses ad fraud, and it's essentially anything that isn't in your target audience and that you shouldn't have to pay for. So that might be, for example, your competitors clicking on your ads. So Dante mentioned earlier bidding on your competitor's brand name for your own advertising. So if that competitor becomes disgruntled, they may click on your ads to try and exhaust your advertising budget so that your ad no longer displays on their company name keyword. So there's a lot of kind of activity around competitors clicking on ads to kind of drain ad spend. Another avenue of invalid traffic is website scrapers and crawlers. So these technologies crawl the internet, they gather intelligence, and then they provide that intelligence through kind of SEO monitoring tools or advertising monitoring tools, anything that can kind of give you an understanding of like the digital landscape. Those tools are populated by little crawlers that scour the internet, and they take content and they interact with different elements on your website or where your ads are placed in order to gather that intelligence. And then the other element of invalid traffic is click farms and bots. So they're basically computer programs that look like web traffic, and they're designed to look like web traffic, and sometimes they're designed to engage with advertising for various reasons. But the point is that your competitors, these bots and web crawlers, they have no intention of becoming a customer of yours. So they'll click an ad and you pay for that click, and that click will never result in a sale. And the reality is that it could be as much as 30% of your traffic that is that kind of activity. And that's 30% of your budget that could be getting wasted. So without any kind of ability for that traffic to deliver a return on investment for your advertising spend. So as you can imagine, it's a pretty big problem for businesses of all sizes. Our PPC prevention is designed to stop your ads from being served to sources of invalid traffic in real time. So that means that about 30% of your spend, or if it was 30% of your spend that's going to invalid traffic, can now go to reaching real people with the potential to become real customers. So it essentially gives you back 30% of your budget that was previously going to waste, so you can get more customers and grow your business. So big businesses have had kind of similar tools and a lot of education in this area for some time, but there haven't really been much in the way of education for small businesses until now. And in Australia, the growth of digital advertising is driven by small and medium businesses. More businesses are advertising online, more businesses are increasing the amount that they spend in online advertising. So we think it's really important to bring awareness to this issue for small and medium businesses. But more importantly than just awareness, transparency. Like, give businesses the ability to see, all right, is ad fraud taking my spend? How much is it taking? What would it look like if I didn't have to pay for this traffic? It's especially important now, obviously, in this kind of COVID reality that we're living in. For many businesses, they're relying on digital advertising as a new channel, and sometimes it's the only channel of new business. So the effectiveness of digital advertising is really determining what position a business is going to be in when we get to that kind of post-COVID world. So it's really important to make sure every dollar counts. So that's kind of Traffic Guard in a nutshell, and the way that we're currently helping small and medium businesses.
Thank you, Hannah. That's fantastic. All right, so I'm gonna now invite everyone back in, and then can you turn on your video, guys? And of course, I will better turn on my video as well. And Rebecca, take it away. Rebecca is gonna be facilitating the Q&A section, guys.
Thank you, and thanks to the attendees. We've got a handful of questions that have come in already, so please feel free to keep adding them into the Q&A section, and we will certainly answer them. So we've had a couple that have already been answered, but let's address it to the group just in case anyone has any other insights. So Kasia, can you talk to us about a unique value proposition?
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I was meant to type the answers and then I realized. UVP focused, in other words, unique value proposition. So in other words, this means focusing and highlighting what makes your business unique, and also makes it stand out from your competitors, and giving your potential customers a reason to do business with you over others, really. So focusing on the unique points of your business.
Thanks, Kasia. Dante, this one's for you. What keywords would I use if I was trying to reach customers overseas?
You're just muted, Dante.
There we go.
Rookie error for 123 of these this year. I still can't get that right. So for overseas keywords, they're not really that much different to the keywords you'd use if you're trying to sell it locally. It's still the name of the product, the category of the product or the service. The only thing that may be adjusted is if you wanted to break your ad sets in Google down into geographical areas. So you could set your keyword research to pick up the best keywords in a specific geographical area if Google is allowed in that particular part of the country. Or you can just simply say, I'm only doing this campaign to this particular geographical area, which will represent part of my spend. And then another part of the spend will represent another geographical area. But to be honest, the keywords won't change that much, apart from when I guess you're using different languages.
Brilliant, thank you. And this next question is a bit of a tricky one. So I might open this up and everyone can give me a response. So for 1,000 customers reached by digital marketing, what is the percentage who will actually buy? Anyone want to start?
I'm the only one that's off mute, so I'll throw an answer out there for you.
Fire away.
Yeah, so it really just depends on your product. So, you know, and your audience, like what's their propensity to buy online? Are they, is it a cheap, is it an affordable solution that they can easily buy and consume and have delivered? Or is it something that involves a more lengthy research process? So it comes down to really like, what's your offline research process look like for that buyer? Are they like doing a lot of research? Are they, you know, going to lots of different places for information? Those kinds of things that influence the cycle, the buying cycle of an offline buyer are also present in an online world. It's just that we now have the ability to access that potential customer through a new channel. I hope that kind of answers it, but maybe
it looks like we got a few nods there from the other panelists. So
Dante was going to answer as well, wasn't it, Dante?
I think I was going to say the same as what Hannah said. The only thing I'd probably add in there is that we used to be given old formulas when I was working in traditional advertising, and it was always that, you know, 10% of people are going to see your ad, 10% of them are going to actually action the ad, and only 10% of those left over are going to then buy based on your ad. That is completely blown out the window, because from one week to the next, that could change completely differently depending on what's hot, what's not, and how much you're spending and how much you've targeted your ads to people.
Hannah, we've got another question that's come in directly for you from Pauline. She would like to know, what is the product you sell to stop the fraud you described, and how does it work?
Okay, thanks, Pauline. So our product is a SaaS product. So you can sign up for it online. It's called Traffic Guard's PPC Protection. And essentially you sign up, it connects with Google Ads. So we receive signals from Google Ads on the activity that's happening on your digital advertising campaigns. And we have a piece of code that sits on your website as well. So we get signal from Google Ads, and we get signal from your website as to the behaviour and the characteristics of the interaction on your site. And then we use all of that data to determine whether or not this is a real person or whether this is fraud. So fraud or invalid traffic. So the technology has the ability to consume all of that data, and then the process is then to exclude the potential for your ads to show to those sources, so that you can like preserve your budget for genuine human traffic. So that's kind of in a nutshell how it works. I hope that answers your question, Pauline.
I'm sure in the recap email that we send out, we can include some links. So that will include a link through to the Traffic Guard website. So if you want to check it out further, you can. And you'll also get a recording of this session, so you can recap on what Hannah's just said as well if you need to. We've got another one that's come in from Ian, and I think I might break this out a little bit and spread the question across 3 ASBAS advisors because digital marketing is fairly broad. So Dante, for every dollar spent on Google Ads, what can I expect the ROI to be?
I always try to get a 4-to-1 ratio. So for every $1, get 4 back, but that will depend very heavily on the cost of the particular product you're doing. If it's a $3,000 thing, well, then the idea of spending, or a $4,000 thing, the idea of spending $1,000 to get that 4,000 back may feel a little on the nose and it cuts into your margin. But if that's a $4 lipstick, for instance, then spending $1 actually doesn't seem so bad. So the higher it gets, you may want to cut down the amount of return you get back in terms of ratio.
Thank you. And then Kasia, do you have any insights to add about the ROI on Facebook and Instagram ads?
Just have to agree with what Dante said as well, because it really depends on the cost when it comes to your product and also, the life cycle of the product. Is it a quick and easy and inexpensive purchase? So also, for example, a lot of the campaigns that I run for clients are to get leads. And when I say leads, I mean new client inquiries. But just as an example, they would rather pay, say for instance, $5 for somebody who's actually likely to convert and become a real long-term client than, say 50 cents to get many more that are just not likely to be their target market. So it really, depends, and it's very much based on your product or service and how much you're willing to invest. Really, it's a very difficult question to answer. Overall, I hope that helps a little bit.
Thank you. And Kerry, do you have any insights that you can add about return on investment from email marketing and email campaigns specifically?
The great thing about email marketing is that there's so much available to us for free, but there are some key things when it comes to it. If you don't have the right subject line in your emails, people aren't even going to open it. So you start off looking at your open rate, then you're looking at, how many people actually click through to your website or wherever it is that they make the purchase, and then how many of them actually purchase. And the less your open rate in the first place, the less your actual purchase rate is going to be at the end. So it really is a process, and that's why when it comes to a lot of these marketing, particularly digital marketing, the more you understand your customer and you understand how digital marketing works, the larger your success rate can be. So it's not always just that you can come in on day one and you can get some really great results if you're not sending the right message out there so that your customers can actually receive it and want to buy.
Thank you. The questions are coming in thick and fast, so thank you to everyone for your participation. Dante, we've got another one for you. When adding keywords to digital presences, where do they tend to be most effective? Within metadata, general site text, or URLs?
This changes all the time. So where it seems to come up as the priority seems to go within metadata and general site. But I would say the general site content is the first place to be looking at. Metadata is kind of like an indication of what's going on your site to Google, but the actual meat of what they're talking about, or the real point of it, is what the context is of the searcher. So if someone's searching the context for a really good answer for something, they're not going to find that in metadata. They'll find that in the content of your website. So content first, metadata second, and the URL really has no bearing anymore. That was kind of phased out about 5 years ago.
Thank you. Kerry, we have a question for you from Charles. With email marketing, where do we get the email addresses of the decision makers?
Yeah, look, that's a really good question. It comes down to when you're out and about, if you're with people, making sure that you're aware of taking the correct information of the right people that you're speaking to, whether you're at a networking event or wherever you meet them. You can also do advertising online through Facebook and other platforms where you can offer a particular download for them giving you your email address. So that's how you can get it. But still, you really don't know if they're the decision maker at all times. So it's really only when you have that face-to-face interaction with someone that you can be assured that you're getting the right one. You just have to try and send out messages to make sure that they're being receptive to what you're sending out.
Thank you. So onto some questions that we received prior to the session. Hannah, what are the top signs that my campaigns are being impacted by fraud?
That's a really good question and really hard to answer. There are so many ways that fraud can impact your business. So it's wasting your ad spend, it's restricting your advertising return on investment, and it's wasting opportunities. So like when if your ad budget gets drained because invalid traffic has, clicked all of your ads and you have, and your budget is exhausted, when a legitimate search happens and your ad doesn't display, and that searcher then goes and buys a product somewhere else, that's kind of the opportunity cost of fraud. They're the ways that fraud is impacting your business. But you can't really see those things until they're alleviated. So ad fraud doesn't just kind of suddenly start and then there's a red flag. It's like it was already there when you started advertising, so there's no basis for comparison. Like it's unfortunately, it's just a reality of the digital advertising ecosystem. But you can find out, and that's by using a tool like Traffic Guard's free, it's a free solution, it's not a huge plug. Just there's a free tool for PPC protection, which gives you transparency. So you can use that and you can see, all right, 15% of my budget or 20% of my budget is being consumed by fraud. If I didn't waste that money, what would my ROI be? And then you can kind of get an understanding of if it's a problem that's impacting you, and then, develop a plan of action to address it, really.
Thank you. Let's go with Dante for this one. What is the best channel for small business owners to use if they have not run any digital advertising before?
I'd have to say boosting on Facebook. If you've never done any sort of advertising before, that's probably the easiest place to start. It's really simple, it's really quick, and it's really a relatively low cost thing to do. Working in the Facebook Ads Manager is probably a little more complicated for a beginner, and definitely the Google advertising is too. That said, there is an easier way to do it through your Google My Business profile if you've got one of those. It's like an express version of Google's ads. So you can do that through there if you want to look at doing Google advertising, but that in combination with something like your Facebook boosts, they would be probably the best ones to go for a startup.
That's great, thank you. So this actually leads on to the next question, which I've got for you, Kasia. Can you tell us what the difference between boosting posts on Facebook is and running paid ads?
So boosting posts and running paid ads, they can be the same thing. So boosting a post is running a paid ad. However, there are many different types of paid ads you can run through Facebook Ads Manager. So as Dante just said, the easiest place to start if you've never run any ads before is by boosting a post that's already on your Facebook page. When you do that, always make sure you do put some targeting in there. So in terms of suburbs or age or interest, don't just let it go out to anybody random, otherwise it can waste your budget. Paid ads on Facebook, that can refer to many other different types of ads, like sending traffic to your website, messenger ads, also ads across Instagram, lead generation ads. So those are done through the Facebook Ads Manager interface, which just takes a little bit more getting used to, but I hope that answers the question. They are both paid ads. There's just a lot more versions available than boosting a post.
Thank you. Kerry, this is a good one for you, I think. I have a big list of emails in my database. Can I use these in my digital advertising?
I guess it depends on how you need to be careful of privacy laws. I'm really careful with this and make sure that the people know that they are actually subscribing to you and that you're going to be sending your business and you're going to be sending them information. You can load them into any free CRM system and use it there, or you can use something along the lines of MailChimp, which is really quite easy to use. That allows you to import data as well. And then you can start sending it out, your campaigns from there relatively easily. But just make sure that the data you are loading in is relevant to the privacy and that you are able to use it. Otherwise, the backlash of people coming back to you, it wouldn't be worth it from my eyes.
Thanks, Kerry. And Dante, did you want to add anything there about how you can use your database to support your other digital advertising as well?
Yes, there's a really clever thing you can do in Facebook's ad platform, which allows you to take your email database and load it in as a custom audience so that you can sort of cut down a bit of that whole guesswork of going, who are the people I'm after? Are they, people who like this or like that? Are they located here or there? Where you can just select the whole of Australia as your target and say, match a certain percentage of the population against my email marketing list. And it'll find people who have already been in your marketing list, but even better, it finds more people just like them. It's called a lookalike audience. And it is probably, and Kazi will probably agree on this one totally, it's probably the most powerful way of getting a very hyper-targeted program of ads going into Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant. And you need to have Facebook Business Manager set up to do it, but it's totally worth it.
Thank you. I'm sure anyone on the line who needs help with that would be able to book an advisory session with any of our ASBAS advisors who specialise in Facebook and Instagram. Kasha is certainly available, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'd love to help.
Hannah, let's go back to talking about some ad fraud. So how much can I potentially save just through blocking fraud in my Google Ads?
Yeah. So most businesses are wasting somewhere in the realm of 10 to 30% of their budget on fraud. Like that's our observation of what we've seen as clients have come in and they've either kind of used a free solution for a bit of transparency, or they're using our more advanced kind of enterprise level solutions as well. So and that's kind of mainly in Google Ads that we're kind of seeing around 10 to 30% of invalid traffic. So that's kind of the budget, like that's getting consumed. But really, I think the biggest kind of cost is really that opportunity cost. Like if your budget's exhausted and then your ad doesn't show to real customers, then you don't get that business, then like that's really the biggest cost, and that's the opportunity cost that is being eliminated when you have something in place to actually prevent fraud. So I guess like in that respect, rather than it just being about saving money, it's really about making sure the money you are investing is performing well and effectively. And then you can actually grow your business and get new customers. So rather than kind of it being a saving, it's actually, a potential revenue generator as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Kerry, you spoke a little bit about automation in your introductory. Can you tell us a little bit more about your best strategies for starting email automation? Do you have some top tips on how to get started and what kind of emails maybe a small business could automate?
When it comes to email marketing, I myself, for my own business, I use MailChimp. I use the paid version of MailChimp to set up some regular emails that go out once a fortnight. And those emails are about what I can do for my customer. So it's what information can I give them? It's all about, you may have heard of the old jab, jab, jab hook kind of scenario where it's like give, give, give. And they need to get to know you as a trusted advisor. They're not going to buy from you the first email that you send out, or more than likely won't. So you need to build trust with them. You need to show that you're an expert in your field and that you can give them information that is going to be relevant to them. And then in that email, guiding them back to where they can get to your website, where they can purchase a product if they're interested, but not necessarily just saying, hey, buy from me, here's a special, here's this. If you're not sending out information, you're going to end up in the promotional tab of everybody's emails and you're not even going to get opened. The great thing with the paid version of MailChimp as a tip is it allows you to see the percentage of your emails that's actually being opened. So the average rate, they say worldwide, is 25%, around about 25%. Of emails get opened. So I always say we want to aim higher than that. We want to be in the 30s and 40s. And that all comes down to your subject line and what you're actually giving them, or what fear or uncertainty you're curing for them to get them to come back and do business with you.
That's great, thank you. And following on for that, do you have any tips on writing an effective subject line?
Yeah, so asking questions is a really good one to, have you been having trouble with your digital advertising question? So oh yes, I have been. It sounds like something that they might be interested in opening it up. So really knowing what the pain points of your customers are so that you can add them in the subject line so that they go, oh, okay, yes, well, I'm going to read that later, or yes, that interests me, I'm going to open it. Works really well.
Thank you. There's another one which is about copy. So I guess from a Facebook perspective, Kasia, do you have any tips on writing copy for Facebook and Instagram ads?
Well, as I briefly mentioned in my whirlwind, with your headline, make it very concise. Around 5 words is very good. And also using those action verbs in there, like try, test, get, receive, to create a sense of urgency as well. But whenever you're writing any sort of ad copy or any content, think about what's in it for your potential client and make it more about them rather than talking just about how great your product or service is, rather. So if you sort of think about it from that perspective, that would be my main tip.
Thank you. Dante, this is an interesting one for you. What if I don't have a website? Can I still run advertising?
Yeah, you actually can. There's variations of Google's ads that allow you to place an SMS as a response, or even a phone call button. But they do work better, obviously, on the mobile only. You don't expect those ones to show up as desktop ads. That said, with most traffic these days going through mobile phones and not through the desktop, that probably won't be an issue if you're selling to consumers. But if you're selling to other businesses, they primarily are accessing from computers, laptops in the office. Even if they're a tradie, it'll be in a side office. So just make sure that if you don't have a website, you make sure your ads are geared towards the mobile user and not the desktop user. But there is also another way for you to sort of point to something like your Google My Business profile. Every Google My Business profile has a unique link that links to it. So you can link to those through Google Ads. And you can also create your own little micro website through your Google My Business website as well, through your Google My Business profile, sorry. So if you want to do that, that creates a place where you can have a little bit of information based on the fields that you've filled out in your Google My Business profile, so that there is somewhere to send those ads to.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm quite mindful of time. We've just got a few minutes left. So I'll just open this up and we'll go around the table and everyone can give me their, say, top 5 tips on either starting or running digital ads, whether that be what to look out for, how to get started, or maybe where to find help. So Kerry, let's start with you.
So my top 5 tips, particularly if you're new to advertising, it's already been mentioned, start with the Facebook boosting because it's really user friendly and it gets you going, but also making sure that once you get that contact information. You know, people come back to you. Some people go, I ran an ad and it comes back and they don't do anything with it. So with that information, put it into an email marketing tool and start emailing them, or put it into a CRM and start actually, you know, making contact with these people. I know it's not 5, but it's a couple of great ones there.
Perfect. Thank you. Hannah?
I'd say just go in it with a clear set of objectives. Define what you want to achieve with advertising. Choose the campaigns and the copy accordingly, and take in every step that you go through that process. Have your objective in mind so that it is geared around getting you that end result that you need. If you have the capabilities, try and set up conversion tracking and measure. Just make sure that, you know, if you're putting this in place and you're investing money in it, make sure that it's successful. Test, iterate, and gradually improve and optimize. But it's a learning process. Like, we develop these kinds of skills over a really long time, so just continuously learn. And a great resource, I think, is grow.google, so check that out, as well as all of the amazing resources at Business Station as well. So,
thanks, Hannah. Kasia?
5 tips, okay. First of all, know thy customer or your ideal client, so you know exactly who you're wanting to reach and, you know, market to. Secondly, pick one objective. So even if you're, you know, starting with boosting a post, which is great, you know, your objective then is to get more engagement for that post and create more awareness. Secondly, start small with your budget and test, don't guess. So as you can see your results in real time, you know, you can tweak it as you go. And as you get a bit more confident, you know, it's really worth trying out different variations, even if it's different images or different versions of your copy or your headline, because you never know till you try. And also the Facebook pixel, make sure you have it installed on your website, even if you don't know what to do with it yet, because it will start collecting data for remarketing audiences, custom audiences, people you can remarket to in future. And I think that's 5, sorry, but one last thing just to add is, apart from all the resources we can provide through Business Station, there are also fantastic resources you can access for Facebook learning ads as well, such as Facebook Blueprint. They've just added 15 more free courses during COVID on various topics, not just ads. So if you just Google Facebook Blueprint, and yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And to round us out, Dante?
Digital marketing is like a big game of time versus money. So it's going to come a point where you may think that, oh my goodness, this is taking so much time out of my day. When you consider how much you charge your time out for, that's how much you're spending for every hour you're spending on doing your own digital marketing. So there are going to be times, and you may grow to a point where, hopefully you'll grow to a point where you'll just have to outsource it, because it's going to get too expensive for you to do it in your own time. So don't be afraid to outsource. There are some really talented people sitting around this table right now, but also some incredibly talented people out there and so many free resources. So if you want to try and do it yourself, use all the resources available, the blueprint for Facebook, grow with Google as their platform to really help. And there's even, like, Facebook have even released a group now, the Boost with Facebook Australia group, which is actually live people like myself and other accredited trainers and actual Facebookers who will help answer your digital marketing questions for you in that group live, like real people. Who would have known with Facebook, right? So use those resources and don't be scared to outsource when it does get too hard. You're not a failure. It just means that you're now just too expensive.
Thanks, Dante. So we'll hand back to you, Ag.
Thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, everyone. That's absolutely insightful. And thank you, Dante. That's Very true, because I think at the back of that, Dante is also providing for ASBAS digital solution quite a few free C19 Biz Boosters webinars. So check us out, look up the asbas.eventbritestudio.com, and there's quite a lot of free resources out there that you can register, and the wide range of general business advisory and digital solutions. Now, Business Station also delivering webinars with online workshops and one-on-one advisory through ASBAS Digital Solutions. So check us out, because we're here for you. We're here to help. Now, I just want to thank you one more time to all the panelists, Kasia, Dante, Carrie, and Hannah, for all your insights and your time today. I really appreciate it. And of course, thank you, Rebecca, for helping us out in facilitating the Q&A. But we're running out of time, and I just want to wish you all to stay safe. And I know, we're in this together, and, I'm so grateful that Australia now, we beat this, we flattened the curve. So congratulations to everyone. Stay safe, and then be kind to each other. Take care, guys. Bye.